Welcome to my second uranium stock comparison. We won't be looking at the same companies and just different metrics. We'll be looking at the same metrics, but with new companies. So let's hop right into it. Hey, my name is Tucker Kraus and welcome to my channel. Like I said in today's video, we're going to be continuing some uranium stock analysis and comparisons. So let's not waste any time. Let's get right into it.
Alright, so the companies we have here today are Paladin Energy, Boss Energy, Deep Yellow, UEX, GoVX, and Elevate. I have them ranked here by market cap. We see Paladin is the largest by a substantial amount with a almost $700 million drop off down to Boss Energy, and we see it go all the way down to about $40 million in market cap for Elevate Uranium. I'd also note Deep Yellow, good job. They're the only company here that's profitable, and I think when I look back at the other comparisons that none of them were profitable either. And by the way, I will be probably doing a short in the near future comparing the companies from this comparison to the other one, just so they're not in their each separate bubbles and we can see in total which companies are better than the others. So these are all of course producers or developers, though they may have additional exploration or other side projects. Today I believe the only stock we have here that has their deposits in the Athabasca Basin is UEX, whereas the rest of them are in Australia and Africa. So that'll be a nice change since last time it was basically all companies in the Athabasca Basin. I have their over-the-counter tickers and information pulled up here just so that we're not messing with currency conversion between Toronto and Australia, etc., etc. But they of course trade on those other exchanges. So first up, price to book ratio, we see that none of them look truly undervalued since you want that to be below 1 to be properly undervalued. We see GoVX is close at 1.42, but we see that it drops off quite a bit from there. Elevate and Paladin are actually really close, and we see that Boss Energy and UEX are significantly behind the rest. By deposit size, of course this isn't just a market cap comparison since an energy supplier may only want to go to a single company for its uranium needs, and you can see right here Boss had the second highest market cap, yet they have the smallest deposit. That's likely due to them having the pre-existing infrastructure that makes their initial startup capex extremely low. You know, I'm sure that makes a difference. But when we look at the rest of them, we see Paladin in the lead here by a substantial amount, 362 million pounds in the ground here, followed by Deep Yellow after quite a drop off, followed by GoVX, then UEX and Elevate are actually quite close. It's very impressive that Elevate, despite the substantially smaller market cap, beat out Boss Energy here. So I'm sure there's other reasons behind that very small market cap. So let's look at price per pound, and we can see Elevate in first place, which makes sense considering, yeah, they beat out a company here and aren't actually too far from others and have a significantly smaller market cap than the rest of the companies here. So makes sense that they're really low. We also see GoVX and Deep Yellow, and to a slightly lesser extent UEX, all look very, very cheap when it comes to price per pound. Paladin and Boss Energy are okay, but I think these guys still beat out most, or not most, but some of the companies price per pound wise from the first uranium stock comparison. But geez, these four all look really, really good on the price per pound basis. So for the grade, we have it in parts per million instead of parts per hundred, since today we only have one company in the Athabasca Basin, which is, you know, where all the insane grades are. And so I do have the ones that were listed in something else converted over to parts per million. You have that noted here. And so we see first in the lead by a lot is UEX. Makes sense, they're the only one in the Athabasca Basin here. Followed by GoVX, and then with a massive drop off, and again another massive drop off down to Paladin, and then Boss Energy, Elevate, and Deep Yellow are all just a few hundred. I just wanted to add in the jurisdictions here, just for political risk and things like that. Namibia is, as far as I know at least, great for uranium mining and just general mining companies in general. And Australia, at least for uranium, I'm pretty sure isn't as good because it's still outlawed in some places as Australia, but obviously these aren't in the places where it's outlawed since they are developing deposits there. And it's, of course, generally a more wealthy country, so you're not going to have any problems there and stable and whatnot. Then right here, that doesn't look great for GoVX, even though they have a much higher grade and also had a very low price per pound. It's not great when you're looking at the jurisdictions they have, at least from what I know. I could be wrong and some of these places are great, but from what I know, when you're looking at Africa, Namibia is far superior to most of these countries, at least for mining jurisdictions. So now we're going to move on to total score, because for these comparisons, I'm not adding in the CapEx or the OPEX or things, or AISC or things like that, because often on a presentation, one company will list AISC, the next next company will list OPEX, etc., etc. So I'll of course dive into those for specific stock comparisons like I did in my last video on fission. But when we go to the total score, we see GoVX first place here, though that's, of course, I'm not grading these since I don't know enough about them, so that's, of course, one risk there. Then you also want to look at Deep Yellow and Paladin and Elevate and UAX are all very, very close here, which is actually pretty interesting that so many of the companies are actually tied quite evenly here. So it would definitely be interesting to dive into each of these companies more in depth. We see Boss Energy is significantly lower, but again, they have that significantly low CapEx, which wasn't included in this comparison, and if it was, I'm sure that would have helped them here. Though, maybe some of these other companies have very low CapEx. That's why I need to dive in more in depth. So comment down below which of these companies you'd like to see me dive further in depth to. But overall, it does actually look like this was a very even match, at least between the middle four. So thanks for watching, and I will see you next time.